Hey, fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Philadelphia Eagles Now. We're going to jump into the latest Eagles news and rumors, and there's some crazy stuff today, including what Howie Roseman had to say in his press conference about Jalen Hurts, the future starting quarterback. First, though, name your favorite Eagle player of all time. Do you have one? I mean, I'm sure you do. Be a pinned comment down below right now. I'm trying to see how many of you guys have the same favorite player, or just how many of you guys are going to go down to the pinned comment. Give me your favorite player. Mine, growing up, was Brian Westbrook. He was my favorite player. The first Eagle jersey I ever owned was a black Brian Westbrook jersey. I just for whatever reason, I love B West. Give me your favorite Eagle of all time down below right now. All right, so starting with the latest Eagles news and rumors, I want to jump into kind of a Twitter rumor. There's not a lot of real reporting behind this, but there was some Twitter people that were talking about Brandon Brooks. And of course, you remember Brandon Brooks tore the pec at the beginning of the year, didn't really play besides the first game, and has been out for the rest of the season. We all thought he would come back. I kept saying he's going to come back, never did. And now there was a report saying that Brandon Brooks could retire this offseason, or Philadelphia might look to go ahead and cut him. So either way, you lose your star right guard. Now, again, is he really a star right guard? Yes, whenever he's healthy, but the problem is that the star right guard has only played in 2 games of the last 2 seasons. Now, it's not his fault. I mean, injuries happen at random to everybody, but it's tough to see all that money you're going to pay him, $13 million in base salary in 2022, to go to waste on potentially a guy who's either not going to be healthy or who's going to get injured again, or in the end, who might go ahead and retire. Now, Ruben Frank from NBC Sports in Philadelphia had a good write-up on Brandon Brooks talking about getting rid of him. I'll throw that quote up on the screen right now. Quote, but he's played 2 games the last 2 seasons, years. He hasn't finished the season healthy since 2017, turns 33 next summer, and he plays a position where the Eagles have some depth now with Landon Dickerson, Isaac Seumalo, Jack Driscoll, Nate Herbig, and Sua Opeta. Cutting Brooks would create $15.74 million in dead money, but keeping him would count $19.44 million against the Eagles' cap. I just don't see Brooks as part of the team's future, end quote. Now, naturally, if Brooks were to retire, that would go ahead and nullify his contract, giving Philadelphia a lot of extra spending money in free agency, and so that's what you kind of hope is that he is going to go ahead and retire. But either way, I love Brandon Brooks. I would love for him to come back, but if he just can't stay healthy, then you got to do what's best for Philadelphia, and that is get younger on the offensive line, which honestly, they've done a really good job. Like, look at the depth that they have on the offensive depth chart. You forget that Isaac Seumalo was supposed to be the starting left guard and is a great one, got injured. So Seumalo comes back, he takes over back over the left guard spot, and then you have Jack Driscoll, you have Nate Herbig, you have Sua Opeta, and Landon Dickerson to go ahead and play right guard. Now, Dickerson might go ahead and move to center if Kelsey retires, but there still is a plethora of really good backup right guards to go ahead and fill in Brandon Brooks' place. Are they as good? Well, not when Brandon Brooks is healthy, but the main key here is Brandon Brooks has never really been healthy throughout his career besides the one Super Bowl year in 2017, and so look for this to be a move that could be coming in the future as we get closer to the start of the NFL season. Will they cut him? Will they keep him? Will he retire? This is all yet to be seen, but there were some Twitter rumblings out there, and I wanted to be the first to jump on this here for your guys' update. Now, ask this question down below during the ad break. Should the Eagles cut or keep Brandon Brooks? What do you think? Type C down below for cut, or type K down below for keep. Now, in more crazy Jonathan Gannon news, we covered this over the past couple of days, he's gotten another interview. Like, at first it was, we just got the Minnesota Viking interview. That's probably just like Vikings are going to check in. And then it was, we got the Denver Bronco interview. And you went, oh man, Denver really likes their defensive coordinator because they're very high right now on the Cowboy defensive coordinator. And now he got another one. He is going to be interviewed by the Houston Texans sometime in the next couple of days as they have submitted a request to interview Jonathan Gannon. So 3 teams are now interested in Gannon to be their head coach. Now, a lot of teams are casting very wide nets. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it does increase the odds that he might actually be hired as a defensive coordinator, which blows my mind. I mean, I don't hate Jonathan Gannon, but I also don't love Jonathan Gannon, and the fact that teams are considering making him a 1-year defensive coordinator into their head coach, very surprising. Now, Bleeding Green Nation has a write-up on this on their website, a great write-up here. We'll throw the quote up on the screen. Quote, like the Broncos and Vikings openings, Gannon lacks an obvious first-glance connection to the Houston vacancy. Upon further inspection, it's probably worth pointing out that Texans general manager Nick Cassiero and Gannon are both from Ohio and attended Cleveland area high schools. It might also be worth noting that Cassiero comes from the New England Patriots, where he overlapped with Josh McDaniels for a long time, and McDaniels brought Gannon to Indianapolis before he dipped out on the Colts, end quote. So there is a little connection there. We'll see if it actually progresses into anything, as the Houston Texans is kind of the one, the least attractive job least appealing job in the National Football League. Here's my thought. If you do get rid of him, right, then, or don't get rid of him, if someone hires him, right, wink, wink, bring Vic Fangio in to replace him. This has been all over Twitter, and I totally agree. Vic Fangio, the former defensive coordinator of the Bears, head coach of the Denver Broncos, top 5 defense over the past 3 years. He's not very good with offense and quarterbacks, but he's great with defense. Fangio would be an excellent replacement, and to me, would improve the Eagle defensive game, tenfold. The problem with Gannon's scheme is that it just was too passive. Like, you just kind of sat back and let guys pick you apart, and he never beat a really good quarterback. He had some nice wins against bad teams, but he had a lot of bad losses against good teams. That's a problem. I think Fangio would be a great replacement. Now, obviously, it doesn't guarantee if Gannon leaves that Fangio will be the replacement. He's just an option, so maybe you could actually be downgrading if you go hire somebody else who is not as good as Jonathan Gannon, but keep an eye on this story. It does seem like he might be getting a chance here. I'm still, it blows my mind. I think there are better candidates out there. I'm under the assumption that you go for an offensive-minded head coach. That's been what history has told us the past couple of years, is that you try to find the next Sean McVay, try to find the next Kyle Shanahan. The Packers were able to do it with Matt LaFleur, and obviously the Bengals were able to do it with Zachary Taylor, and I think Philadelphia did it with Nick Sirianni. I think offensive-minded head coaches are the way to go, so it blows my mind that how many times Gannon is getting interview requests, but doesn't guarantee anything. We'll keep an eye on it here on the channel. Who would you rather have as the DC? I think most of you guys are going to agree with me on this one. Should I have Gannon or Fangio? Type G down below for Gannon or type F down below for Fangio. I am very in on bringing in Vic Fangio. If they were able to pull that off, this defense, especially 3 first-round draft picks next year, this defense could be very, very good. Now, before we get into the Howie Roseman press conference today, where he gave his thoughts on Jalen Hurts, just stuff you need to hear here in just a couple of minutes, quick shout out to our friends at BetUS, your one-stop shop for betting on the NFL divisional round games, as I will do with our friends at BetUS. Chatsports.com/EaglesBet. That promo code is Eagles125. Gets you a 125% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up. You take a whole $100 and put it on one game, or you spread it out from among the 4 games, whatever you want to do. I have some good feelings and strong feelings about some of these games I'll reveal later on this week, but get your bets in now with our friends at BetUS. Chatsports.com/EaglesBet. That promo code is Eagles125. All right, Jalen Hurts, right? The most polarizing name in Philadelphia sports right now, not named Ben Simmons, although I think more so because Ben Simmons is kind of just MIA right now. Hurts comes off of this year being very successful, and I think he had a very good season. The problem is that recency bias is an issue, and so you look at recency in terms of his last game. Hurts had a bad game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that leads to a lot of speculation on trades, on new quarterbacks, on drafting quarterbacks, and honestly, thankfully so, Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni had a joint press conference today. I was watching it over Zoom or whatever it was earlier this morning, and how he was asked about Hurts and gave the answer that I wanted to hear. We'll throw it up on the screen right now. Quote, "We talked about Jalen and the growth he had. Really first-year starter, second-year player, leading this team to the playoffs. Tremendously impressed by his work ethic, his leadership. Last time we talked was during camp, and we said we wanted to see him take the bull by the horn, and he certainly did that. We've got to do whatever we can to continue to help him develop," end quote. So that seems like a very, big-time firm check mark on bringing back Jalen Hurts. He was asked specifically if they will bring back Hurts as the starter in 2022, and he said yes. Now, he can lie about that, as we'll see. But I like the last quote here talking about get weapons to continue to develop him. Go get Calvin Ridley. Let's just throw it out there. Calvin Ridley, hello, paging Calvin Ridley. You talk about getting weapons to go ahead and help Jalen Hurts. Him and alongside Devontae Smith would be an absolutely incredible pairing. Keep an eye on this one. I think it's a no-brainer for Philadelphia. With all the draft picks that they have, he won't cost a first. Go get Calvin Ridley. Now, just because Howie Roseman says Hurts is our guy in 2022 doesn't mean he's not lying, doesn't mean it doesn't guarantee it. If they're going to go out and get somebody, it's Russell Wilson. And we talked about this. If they were to do it, which I don't want them to do, as you know, it would cost 3 first-round draft picks, maybe 2 plus a player or 2 plus a later-round draft pick. Wilson is still out there. So don't just go back and sit back and go, oh, okay, good. Well, we're not trading for a quarterback because they're going to call Seattle just to see. Trust me on that one. But I do like and I do think that Howie is, I think, being honest about bringing back Hurts, and I'm excited about that one. Now, he was also asked about Jalen Reagor, and he talked about how he's been disappointed in Jalen Reagor's play, but really talked about Reagor needing to become a wide receiver 3, which is interesting because Reagor was really wide receiver 2 at times this year, which gives you more ammo and firepower to pull on the rumor that Calvin Ridley can be wide receiver 2, Smith 1, and then Reagor 3. But as a lot of people are saying, and I'm saying as well, maybe it's time to go ahead and move on from Jalen Reagor. Ruben Frank had a write-up on Jalen Reagor. We'll throw that up on the screen right now. Quote, "Reagor this year became only the 6th wide receiver drafted in the first round since 1977. Started at least 12 games and have fewer than 300 yards, and only the 3rd ever who wasn't a rookie. Along with Tex Coulter of the Giants in 1947 and Larry Burton of the Saints in 1976. I don't care about the $7.84 million cap hit. He has to go. has to. Come on, Howie, end quote. Now, I am for getting rid of Reagor. I would do it in a trade, right? I would not just cut him outright. You cannot just cut Jalen Reagor for $7.84 million in cap hit. You need that money to spend on other spots. I mean, look at the depth chart right now. It's fine to keep him. It's fine to keep him. You just got to make sure that he molds into something. Now, if he doesn't, then eventually you're going to be able to just move on from him and not up his contract. But you can't just cut him, Ruben. Come on. I mean, this is not financially smart. Now, trading him, including him in a trade, maybe ship him off to Atlanta for Ridley, that's much better because the opposing team takes on his rookie contract. They're not going to cut him. I don't see them cutting him. He'll probably be an Eagle next year, and the hope is that year 3, he magically pops, right? Third time's a charm. Now, obviously, whatever they do with Reagor, we'll cover it here on the channel, so make sure you guys are subscribed down below. Plenty of offseason coverage. Philadelphia's going to be a hot team to cover this offseason, I'm telling you. Let's hit the 23,000 subs, hit the notification bell, go down below, and subscribe. Now, speaking of this offseason, quickly we'll end on this. The important dates you need to know for the offseason. You have the NFL Scouting Combine starting March 1st through 7th in Indianapolis. You have the new league year. Free agency begins 4 p.m. March 16th. That's the day that you can go ahead and start signing free agents, and that's the day you can go ahead and start trading for players, a.k.a. Calvin Ridley. So there's your big date, right? Mark your calendars. You're about 2 months away from March 16th. OTAs for teams with, or offseason workouts, not OTAs, offseason workouts for teams with incumbent head coaches or head coaches who've been here last year, April 18th. And, of course, the NFL draft, where we have hopefully 3 first-round draft picks there on April 28th. What's your favorite part of the offseason? I mean, out of all this, mine's the draft. I'm a draft nut. I'm a draft nerd. Although I do think Philadelphia's going to have a pretty fun free agency period. What's your favorite part of the offseason? Let me know down below. And while you are thinking about this, DM me this on Twitter, at Real Thomas Mott. I'm going to respond to the first 5 DMs I get on Twitter as long as you're following me after this video. So follow me on Twitter, and you got a question for me, DM me on Twitter right now. Maybe I'll use it in a mailbag. Maybe I'll just respond to it, but I'll respond to your DM. Just go ahead and give me a follow, at Real Thomas Mott. I want to see a mailbag video later on this week, so use the hashtag Eagles down below in the comments section, or, of course, like I said, DM me on Twitter, as we have plenty of mailbag questions already here, and I'm looking for a couple of more, so be one of the ones to give me a good question, be a subscriber down below. All right, longer video, a lot going on. For Philadelphia Eagles now, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off to the rest of your day.